Yes. Yes, there's a Rocky. You want to come in? Come on. Yeah. What?
Day 24! That's right, it's me, Gazbot, for day 24 of 100 days of making comics. I am using my new camera now. It's another GoPro, better model for indoor. I have it synced up with my iPad so I could kind of see my framing, but I can't tell how good the resolution is because it's very bad on the iPad always, and there's a delay. Matter of fact, I'm going to move it because it's distracting me. I'm filming in almost complete darkness. I have my monitor light and a small lamp back there. Everything behind me is dark, so if this doesn't look great, that doesn't mean this camera is a failure as well. We're in the testing phase now. But that's not what you're here to hear about. That's not what you're here to hear about. English is so odd. I was going to say weird. Another synonym. English. Anyway, work. So my work day today started last night. After I did the video, Q had gone over the script for the second issue with her revisions, and we went over that together. And then I did most of the rewriting of that last night. I probably put in about 45 minutes and about 15 minutes talking to her, so that's like an hour right there, which was after midnight, so, you know, it still counts as today. But that doesn't, I thought about, like, oh, if I'm lazy, I could just do an hour today. Instead, I did that hour last night. But I didn't do that. Not counting the hour last night, today I put in about 2 hours and 15 minutes, which is good considering most of the day I spent on client work, so it wasn't like I had a sitting around doing nothing kind of day, but I made the time to work on my project anyway. I spent about another half hour or so getting the rest of the script finished of issue 2, so that's now completely revised one time. I still need to wait for Q's notes on 3 and 4 and then revise those, but I'm about at the halfway mark of being ready to hand it off to someone else. And at that point, unless that person has crazy rewrites, that will probably be the end of the writing phase. What I did on top of that was some more design work. There is a small character, like kind of an urban mech, and when I say urban, I literally just mean city, like a small robot that could fit and function in the city. It's sort of like a security drone, and I did a speed process of that, which I will show you right here.
So as I said, I'm trying to get a sort of urban mech done. He's a defense bot. The he, she, it, whatever. The two main attributes it has to have are that it has to be able to fly, and it has to be able to capture or contain people, like suspected criminals or something like that. So I don't know why, but from the very beginning I pictured something kind of like flying with no legs, and kind of a bucket head. So you see the first one I drew on the left was sort of just a rough idea. Now I'm kind of expanding upon that, giving him some grapple claws. And then these are just different permutations. I think this one I said, oh, what if it has legs? Give it some tentacles. That'd be a great grabbing thing, but it looks kind of alien. I was thinking maybe you need a big claw, and then I was sizing up if it was holding a person. And then I said, well, let me take that big claw and put it on one of those floaty mechs. A lot of variations on a theme when I do stuff like this. I give him a little bit more of a pointy egg body, and a little digital readout face. Gave him one normal hand in case he needed to pick up normal stuff. And I got another little float body. Maybe that, is like a magnetic thing or force field generator. I tried to go someplace completely different, make it more of a humanoid, very skinny. Had to fly, so I imagine there's like rockets in the feet. Gave it really long, cabley arms for grabbing people. Added some, that's just more rocket feet. Added some wing type things for stabilization if it was able to fly to make it slightly more believable. I kind of thought that guy was cool. I don't know, I have a thing for long arms, I realize. Another design, again with sort of the pointy head egg body. Gave him claws that could separate better, like each of those pistons would separate out. And these little things are kind of like Vincent or Bob from the Black Hole, but I gave him a lot so he looked kind of like a satellite or Sputnik. The idea for this one going into it was that it would have very little in the way of a torso or a head, and it would just be all arm. The arms would be very strong, and his fingers, and the head is basically just sensors and cameras and things like that. So this was kind of a neat looking, like it almost looks like you took the arms off of a big powerful super robot mech and then stuck it to like a lamp. Again, no legs. I kind of gave him construction lines, like safety lines on the gauntlet parts of his hands. I think I'd do 2 more roughs just to fill up the page. Once again, trying to get a different design. This one came out a little bit more humanoid. Give it little teeny pointer feet, like drills or needles or something. Big claw hand. The shoulder pads almost look like insectoid, like wing type stuff, so I kind of went with that, keeping the feet also kind of like insect legs. And I had just drawn something around the pelvis there, but it kind of looked like a skirt, so I don't know, I kind of liked it. And once again, I gave it one normal hand, one big claw hand, and kind of a blank face. I don't think I ended up going with this design, but I like it. I might use it for something else, like tweak it around a little bit, but it's just a weird looking thing. That even though I found it to be an interesting design, it didn't make sense that would be a mass-produced mech. And this mech, I started with the back of a car for the head, which every time I look at the backs of cars in traffic, I always think they look like robot faces. But then I sort of stuck it on a floating thing with some old-fashioned 70s looking robot arms, and those look kind of like knives, but like they're not aid in flying. There's the tires. So that was all the roughs, and I did some saving or whatever. And then I went through them and tried to say, well, which ones don't I like? And it was those. And actually, you know, the flying guy I did like. I just didn't think he'd work for this. So then I had these ones left, and decided to do a composite with some of the things I liked from each of them. I kept coming back to that 3-prong claw hand. I gave it the safety stripe. That's when I crossed out that sort of insectoid, humanoid, just because it wouldn't make sense for this. So you can see here I definitely settled on something that hovers with no legs whatsoever and 2 big grabby arms of some sort. And if I remember correctly, yeah, I'm basically creating a fusion of the first 2, the one on the left and the one in the middle. Sort of the egg body, which I liked better than that one that looks kind of like a knight's helmet. But I like those little siren-y things in front. Like, not sirens, lights, like, you know, as though a police car would have or something. And then the big 3 claws from the second guy. There's almost nothing from the third one. I'd X'd out the body thinking I might still use the arms. So that was sort of a hybrid of the top 2 left. Then I did something which I don't usually do. I just started cutting pieces off of different ones and trying to jam them together. I guess because they're robots, I thought I could get away with this, but it wasn't really working. I'm like, oh, well, I'll redraw that and connect it. And again, it looked kind of like a neat, like hodgepodge if it was like in a gladiator arena or some robot that had repaired itself, but as a mass market thing that there'd be many of in a city, it didn't make sense. That one worked a little better. Attaching those sort of gauntleted, you know, fully formed hand arms onto that guy made a little more sense, but I don't think I was really feeling the way they meshed together. There's another mashup. I kept coming to that body shape. This one worked a lot better, putting these big gauntlet arms on him. I just cleaned it up so they fit a little better. And that one looks pretty nice. That one, I think that's the one I almost went with, but I didn't. Yeah, here I am just getting rid of all the others. Now I'm down to these 4, which are all very similar. And I think I very quickly... Oh, I adjusted him a little, make him a little more different. I think I very quickly got rid of the guy on the top left. Yep. And then I started putting those like sort of police lights on top, but I thought it made him look so much like a bug, so I erased those. That guy on the bottom right, I just didn't, like, again, look cool, but didn't seem like a mass-produced thing. Here I am once again kind of combining these 2, which are already, you know, the one on the left is already a hybrid, so more permutations on a theme. Oh, and at this point I've decided, okay, this guy's going to be my final. So I put him in at a low-level opacity and just started trying to clean him up. And those 3-claw arms were favorites from the very beginning, so they made it into a lot of versions, so it's no surprise they made it to the end. Once again, no legs, little floaty balls, kind of a la Vincent Black Hole. I don't know if that's where I got it specifically from, but that's what it makes me think of when I'm looking at it now. I always imagine that they're, like I said, either like they emanate anti-gravity or they're magnetic forces or force fields, like invisible, but if we could see them, there would be energy pushing off in different directions. Gave him kind of a glass face. I keep saying him, but it's a robot. It doesn't have a gender. A glass kind of face with a digital light readout. I imagine it would only show up when it needs to interact with humans and customers. Otherwise, it would be completely blank, because why does a robot need a face except to make it more pleasing to humans? I copy and pasted the arm, which I talked about before that I sometimes do. I'm less likely to do it with something organic or a final drawing, but that was just to make things go quicker. I wanted to make the face area darker here, so I just put another layer and did that. And yeah, then I think I threw in a little bit of color. I think I actually accidentally put it over the line layer instead of under, so it wasn't as crisp. And again, it's not going to be in color, but these things sort of help me visualize. And I gave it sort of police colors, but not exactly police colors, because I'm imagining this is sort of a I don't know what whatever the equivalent of paramilitary is for civil police forces. Paracivil military. Anyway, there it is.
So yeah, other than that, not much to report. I got Gantz too. Gantz. This is a Japanese movie. Once a month, Q and I and several friends get together and have Tokusatsu Mania. Tokusatsu is just the Japanese word for like sort of special effects, science fiction type things. Godzilla is usually a mainstay of these, and then we'll watch Ultraman or other things like that. And Gantz has sort of snuck its way in. It's not strictly speaking the kind of thing we normally watch, but it's sort of sci-fi, so it fits in. I really liked one. It's a manga and an anime, which I have not watched either, so I can't put it against that, but I really enjoyed the first movie, so I'm very excited to watch this weekend. So that's Gantz. there's your free Japanese movie review that you didn't ask for. Godzilla print contest still going on. I'll put the link up here again. If you want to win that for free, no shipping, no signing up or anything, you just gotta like and share. All the rules are in that link I just put up. I'll also put them in the show notes. What else? I've been catching up on a lot of the other hundreds I was talking about the other day, and I mean, there's a lot to go through. Some are more entertaining than others, some are more polished than others, but all of them unified by the same idea of like wanting to create for themselves and making the time in their busy or otherwise schedule. For me, I find part of it is making time in my quote-unquote busy schedule, but I think I do have more free time than the average person I'm looking at, especially like when I talk about Kevin Cross, who started it. He's got a kid, and he's working freelance full-time and doing his own thing, and whatever. I'm a freelancer too, but my work schedule like recently has been real low, semi on purpose, to do this exact kind of thing. And I don't have a kid, so right there I have a lot more free time than everyone else. So the other thing I'm battling, in addition to making time, because there is still stuff I have to do around the house, or I do get occasional client work, even though I'm trying to cut back, is like, I don't want to say depression, because that's not right, or motivation, I guess. Which I've talked about before, is bizarre that it's my own work, that in theory I enjoy doing it, but it's hard to like sometimes get myself to sit down and write, to sit down and draw. And I usually enjoy it when I do, but I continually struggle with like, oh, okay, I did Christmas cards and I better go to the post office and mail those prints, and I could do some work now, but yeah, you know what, I better take out the trash. And so for me, as much as it is finding time, it's using that time wisely. And I find, and I think this is a good thing, that even at 2 hours a day, I feel lazy. I feel like I'm not doing enough. And granted, when I watch these other guys and girls, some are doing more than me, some are doing less than me, but I'm not comparing myself against other people, nor should anyone compare themselves against me. I just feel like 2 hours is just good enough. And I want to be doing more. I'm almost at the quarter mark. And by the time I get to 100 days, if I don't have a finished book, that's fine, and I don't really think I will, and I don't think anybody has that I've looked at least not so far. But I would like to have a good chunk. Scripts completely done, character designs are completely done. Here's a bunch of finished pages. If I had, 20 to 24 pages that could be a first issue, ostensibly, that would be fantastic. If I get to 100 days and that's where I'm at, you'll see me doing a little dancey jig around the room, because that dancey jig around the room, because that dancey jig around the room, because that dancey jig around the room, because that's perfect. But we'll see how it goes. I'll try to put in some more effort. Problem is with Christmas coming up and New Year's and stuff, it's gonna be a hard time to put in that extra effort. But I'm gonna keep doing it. And so that's it for today. Tomorrow, I don't think I have any client work tomorrow. So I will make. Well, see, here's the other thing. I'll make this promise that if I have no client work tomorrow, I'll do a lot more. But I'm also still kind of waiting on the scripts to be done. And so all the work I'm putting in, like the design work and stuff, sort of almost feels like busy work. Like, it needs to be done, but it's not the pages, which is like the hard work, the serious work. But anyway, this is going on too long, and I want to go have some coffee. So that'll end day 24, and that means we got like 76 days left, dude! Cowabunga!